Oscar.
To the Philippines and a conference as well on diaspora philanthropy in Hanoi. And although these same questions are being asked, just asked from a different point of view. It's more how this could be helping good, what they call here, good to do the good work or charity work. But even charity organizations are already thinking about the questions of sustainability. They call strategic philanthropy. So ultimately, they talk about how it could be made sustainable through social enterprise. So how this could be earning. And I see a lot of questions here about partnerships. But my question then to the panel is something more related to what do you think is a system that could encourage these partnerships more systematically? Because there's a certain problem with partnerships just allowed to form by themselves. It takes too long. And by the time you're too old already to help, and maybe the second generation might not be too interested anymore, or they might work through other means. So one of the suggestions of that conference was practically to form, like in a bamboo dance, there's a part here that takes care of the sending, and one part takes care of the receiving end. So that there's this, they call the intermediary organizations, make sure that the matching is made more efficient. So my questions are, in your different experiences, would this be a good idea to form these kinds of bodies that will kind of give an advice or give kind of rating to projects or investments that might be good for migrants from the point of view of the national development of one country, and from our end, which is also those things that we think are important according to our values, the values that we have learned while we are here. So that is the question.
Okay, well, let's ask the panel. Henri, do you want to?
Difficult to talk about philanthropy because microfinance is more creating opportunities, economic opportunities, than philanthropy. So in our case, our goal is more to see how to enhance the development impact in transforming somewhere the remittances itself in a productive investment and to create the means to succeed in this case.
Yes, I think actually depends on what kind of partnerships you're speaking. From our point of view, Morocco Funds, it's more the social engineering. Henry, it's more the financial structures. I think for partnerships, speaking about our experience, is that already migrant organizations, by their nature themselves, are very good in networking and try to enhance partnerships. If it's with municipalities, if it's with policy advisors, with other international donors, can be enormous. It's just that you need the infrastructure, social infrastructure, actually to do it. And if we speak about the theme of this conference, MDGs, achieving of MDGs and opportunities for partnership, I think it would be a good idea when, for instance, if you take the Netherlands, take the migrant organizations in the Netherlands to reinforce their capacities to do awareness raising about the MDGs, because a lot of Moroccan migrants we work with, we try to raise this awareness as to do as to make them doing investments, for instance, in education in Morocco. Not all of them are aware of those issues involved. If you give them the information and also give them opportunities to invest and to contribute, then you can really make a point. Even if, of course, it remains small contributions to achieving the MDGs, but it might be interesting to work in a platform, the Dutch migrant associations, and to make a program on what the best ways are, because we are all doing it already, but what the best experience are till now that we can use for our migrants. Voilà.
Vikash?
question, but my observations in reference to Madeline and also to Mr. Francois. I a bit disagree with you on it, to what you said, Madeline, that the second generation, the Moroccan generations, there's an upgoing trend of sending remittance. But if we look at the second generations, Bangladeshi generation or Surinamese generation, we see very little, and that trend is going down. And I'm afraid that the next generation, for example, my kids, I don't think that they will send a single cent to back home. So, what is your observation?
Very brief. Well, there is of course a difference between observation and research studies. There is an NCDO study, geefgedrag onder allochtonen, and there has been specific research by the philanthropy vakgroep of the Free University in Amsterdam, where it showed that actually young second generation migrants from Morocco are sending money home, and you even see that how the higher their level of education, the more they send back to Morocco. And it's not only money sending home, but it's especially, and that's very important, making investment in Morocco. And that's a very interesting movement I think. We should take in mind, and more research should be done about it. But our experiences, our observations, but also research results from not only NCDO but also other organizations shows that there is actually an investment going on from second and third generation Moroccan migrants towards Morocco.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll. Is there one last question? The lady at the back? Yes, please. Lady at the back.
I'm just being Smith from Wanda Foundation. I have a question about somebody from Congo. A little bit, I don't know what to say, but there's a question here. I'm from Sierra Leone. And then how and what magic was played, or I don't know what really happened, for this microfinance to exist in Congo? And as I know, it's still a war-torn country just like Sierra Leone. And what can Sierra Leone do to obtain such a privilege?
In the case of Congo, we're still working on it because we have this problem to face with the regulatory framework. And I think the first point to address to your government or public authorities is about the regulatory framework. Just close to you, you have someone from Money Transfer who can answer why, or if they are in Sierra Leone, how they can operate, because we are talking with them about it.
There is microfinance operating in Sierra Leone, so they are also very privileged. Not as privileged to have Henri, that's true, but they do have other microfinance institutions. Well, I think, okay, we'll take one more question.
Closer.
My name is Sarah Shatisman, Stichting Ebola. I have a question for Dr. Manuel.
Who wasn't on this panel. We are going to have a last panel discussion where, believe it or not, we have one more opportunity to hear from Dr. Professor Sage Manuel. So we will, if you hold that question until the last session, thank you. And what we'll do is we'll wrap this one up here. I would just to say that one of the things that is slightly emerging from the discussions, and perhaps we want to be a little bit careful, is this idea that it often creeps in that somehow we need to teach and train migrants how to do development. I knew it would happen at some stage, and we were beginning to see a little bit of that. let's just be mindful of the wisdom of people who leave their countries because there's no education and because there are no roads and so on. And they may be a little bit more knowledgeable than sometimes we give them credit for. But nonetheless, let's thank the panel for some very interesting contributions, please.